go out in the sun if I can help it. Okay.
Oh, there we go. Are we live? Yeah. Start it like that. Don't really go out in the sun much.
Can't imagine you use sun cream,
Hello.
Andy. It's just not your thing, is it?
I didn't when we were in Spain. Let me get rid of this. I didn't wear any sun cream when I never got burnt once, and then getting back to Wales, got burnt like the day we came back.
Burnt in the winter. I
That's
don't
definitely
know how
hot.
that's possible.
I'm
Got
so
really
pale, man. If
burnt.
I don't, I'm so pale that if I don't put sun cream on a sunburn, my heart, like that sort of thing, is right through me.
Okay.
Sounded like you said you get sunburnt on your heart. Then.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Is
yeah.
that
'Cause
what
my
you
skin's
meant,
so
Rob?
see-through
Oh, I
and
see.
so
I see.
white. Yeah, so white and pasty, and like my skin's so see-through.
Like a fish.
Go straight into the organs, mate. Yeah.
The slight buffering kind of chopped out the punchline, I think, of that joke. Just heart. White heart.
We get the before we get on to what we're talking about, the album that me and Rob, or that Rob's got some songs on, that we did together, is out now, isn't it?
Oh, well done.
It is, yeah.
So it's all right. It's, the mastering and stuff sounds all right on it. So
Who do you do
On to
mastering
the
in the, or
next.
do they do it?
on to the next one. They do it on that particular library. Do it. Sometimes I do it myself. Depends on
Yeah.
what
Do
what
it
sort
for.
of deal people are offering up, really.
Very good.
But yeah, so
Peace of mind.
I was thinking that we could talk about. I mean, this kind of relates to it a bit, I suppose. Can you be both really good at business and really good at the creative side of stuff? And what got me like a good business person and a great creative person, like what got me thinking about it was because last week I had, and it's only happened to me once before, but like just a client who wasn't paying invoices, or wasn't paying an invoice, and when it's happened in the past, I've just sort of nagged them, and it's taken like almost 4 months to get sorted out. And
Yeah.
this time, I sort of like I let it go. Like it went a month overdue, and I was like, right, I'm gonna just come down really hard. I sent them like I'd had 3 emails with them, and they were sort of going, yeah. And I thought, right, well, I'm just gonna sort of go straight to the threatening phase, basically.
You
And,
sound like you're about to say
yeah,
go
yeah.
straight to his house.
straight to his house with
Go around his house.
yeah. Well, I walked
In your
around his
dressing
house.
gown.
Yeah, so that and that kind of like I managed to get it sorted out straight away by going with the last time I sorted it out. I managed to get some advice about if you're freelance, no matter whether you have a contract or not, if you have a due date on your invoice when you put it in, that's the legal requirement. And every day past the date of your invoice, they are eligible to pay interest. Which is the amount of interest they have to pay depends on the value of the invoice. So I figured this out. The previous problem I'd had was like, I can't remember now, like 3 or 4 years ago when I got that advice. So this time, instead of letting it go like 4 months before trying to do anything about it, I sort of like went straight in with that, and they paid it straight away because they haven't got any leg to stand on it. Like that's the law essentially.
Yeah.
And you can, there's a government website page that you can link to, and it's all there, like for you to read. So
Well done.
indicated to me that I have obviously improved somewhat in the business side of things. I guess that's the business side of things, or it's being a bit more confident or a bit less concerned about possibly losing a client. I don't know. When it happened last time, I was like, I don't want to piss them off and lose them. I mean, they kind of all part and parcel.
It's so annoying that people, yeah, like when you know they can just pay, like they can just pay straight away.
Yeah, it wasn't even a big. It was like 250 quid, and it's like,
Yeah, that's it. And it's pointless, isn't it? Like,
yeah,
the fact that they pay straight away when you threaten them, it's always the same as well. It always goes like that. As soon as you sort of say, "Well, I'm going to have to get the small claims involved," which I've never actually done, but you know that's been enough before to
yeah.
get. Although,
Financial
yeah,
ombudsman.
there's one or two people that have never paid me, and it was so dodgy that I couldn't really get him for it. It was just one of them was for like a really small charity event, and he put the deposit down, and then I made the mistake of sending the painting and then waiting for him to pay me the rest. So I now say to anyone who's doing a commission that in advance, I say, you know, don't give me a deposit, but I'll send you a photo of the finished painting and it packed up, and then you're gonna have to pay me before I send it because one person ruined it for everyone else. And I mean, everyone gets it, but it's just, you know.
Well, you wouldn't pay for, you'd pay for anything else. No, you wouldn't get it delivered before, would you? If you were ordering something online.
It's weird, like none of the like you've probably you're now doing that because you've learned from the experience, I guess. None of the work that I do, or hardly any of it, is like, do I sign any contracts for saying this is the job, these are like the deliverables and all this kind of stuff. I don't know if that's common or not. I mean, a lot of the people I work with are friends, or are friends now. But I can't think I've ever signed a contract unless it's like a non-disclosure agreement or something like that.
I just think of that Peep Show episode where they, when he with what's that guy from school, and he has to do Oggy.
Oggy.
And he gets the job to do the music for Yamaha. No, it's Honda. He does the music for Honda, and it's just like a total piece of shit. And he spends all the advance on trainers and stuff. And so they go around to his house with a baseball bat. And Mark is like, "This is exactly why contracts exist, so stuff like this doesn't happen." It's like, always stuck in my head. So true.
Yeah, I don't know. I wonder what would happen if I sort of broached the subject of signing contracts with like a new client. I mean, I don't work with that many new clients now.
I was going to say, with what you do, you kind of produce work and then send it off, don't you? But then you sign a contract, don't you?
For the albums and stuff, they're signed because you've got to sign over, like,
your rights and
some of
whatever.
your rights and all this kind of stuff, in terms of like your copyrights. I'm always concerned about, if a new client came on and went, want me to work on this, you go, yeah, but you're gonna have to sign a piece of paper first. It seems like it would put people off, but maybe I'm just being too like nice about it.
Yeah, I think they'd probably be used to it, wouldn't they? In that sort of environment.
Yeah,
I don't know, really.
When you have artists, I mean, you might not have to deal with it. When you have artists coming in to your studios, Rob, for like musicians and that, do they sign anything? Do you know?
Only NDAs mainly.
Yeah.
I don't know. They'll sign stuff with the reps, I should imagine.
I guess so. Yeah.
Like before they get to us. I don't suppose we do much with that.
I signed quite a big contract for when I worked through an agency. Yes, my main agency. They always sign contract. Never read any of it, but
no.
Which is but with the guy who looks after me, we're rubbish at that. Just and made the mistake recently of not including delivery separate to add the costs of delivery. So like, I did 2 paintings, 2 5x4 paintings, and then was like, oh God, do they want me to deliver these? Like, do I have to, get a courier? And it's, it's like 200 quid.
Yeah.
And we didn't didn't put it in that specific. I normally add it, but struggling not to blame him for this. But yeah, didn't get included. So then you just, and it was that classic thing where I found myself writing. So the way I'd normally do it is wrap it up and put it in a tube, and then you can put it back together. It's a lot cheaper. And then it's like, as I was writing it, I thought, this is not their problem. They do not want it like that. They want it as they expected, like still stretched.
Yeah.
So yeah, that adds about 150 quid extra.
Yeah, it's a pretty big thing to deliver it like that.
Yeah, and it was 2 of them. Yeah, it was just, lesson learned.
End up
Even though I thought my lesson was learned. Sometimes I've done that. The funniest ones is when you've done a painting and you're sort of haggling over it, they're trying to drop the price. And this has happened like about 3 times. And then I've ended up dropping off the painting like on my way through. They're always the biggest houses.
Yeah.
Like with private gates and stuff. I'm like, you have a laugh. It's like you tight ass.
So like dropping the price after it's been agreed and you've done the work, or haggling at the outset of the job?
Yeah, I don't know actually. It's been a while since I've been in that position, but it seems crazy now. I'm like, when was I haggling with them? But
you're in a position now where you just say no, probably, aren't you?
Yeah. I'm at a position now where I keep putting reminders on my phone to say stuff like, take no more commissions, okay? It's not working. Like, just stop doing these commissions, because they're just painting really bad stuff at the moment. I can't finish them.
Oh, B was asking.
Just horrible.
My wife, B, was asking whether you, like, do you think you'll try and get back to your old like business model, which was like quite heavily events based, because you're doing basically mainly commissions at the moment, or do you think you'll try and go somewhere in between?
No, I think I can. It's just too. I can see myself not falling back into it, but I can see it. I can see me just getting back into it. I mean, the pricing's great. I know how to do it. I can't really throw away something that is this unique.
No.
I don't know. Sometimes you wanna completely change everything, but I don't know about that one. I can still. The funny thing is that it's the classic one. The funny one is it's a bit like when people. I think we've talked about this before. When people are like, "Do you know what? I'm done with my job. I'm going to be a YouTuber." And they just quit the next day. They walk out the office. Like, I can pretty much still do my events, really, and I still can put in the time to change all the other stuff until the other stuff is as big. But the commissions and stuff, I just don't know what. Something's not working, man. I'm like painting people's parents, in sunglasses on holiday, and it's like I can't finish these paintings, man. They're just killing me. They're so
you've moved away from that sort of you that feels like something you were doing, I don't know, 10 years ago, I guess, which is kind of part of the problem.
Does it feel a bit like it's a bit like craft instead of art sort of thing?
It's like when you try and be creative, when you're tired and you can't, you just know you can't do it. It feels the same with the content that I've agreed to. It's like I can't seem to get it going on it properly. And when they've taken so long to finish some of these, and I mean, my friend upstairs walked in the other day as I was painting one of them. He's like, "Oh God, like, she's horrible." I don't think he just meant it like, "Oh, that's tough, man. You're way off." Like, I need to paint things that I like painting. I know it sounds. Someone got in touch today and was like, "Can you do this painting of my friend's dad who passed away?" And it's him sat on a Land Rover, and it's like a really old photo, and it's like
Yeah.
so close to just going, yeah. And I was like, come on, Dave, you put reminders on, like, try and just say no, at least for now, and just try and paint some really good stuff and stuff. I just, and he's like, can I have it quite small as well? It's like an A3 painting of a guy sat on a Land Rover that I've never met and never will.
Yeah.
Not going to bring out a very strong. It's horrible. It looks, some of the paintings that I've done recently is stuff that I do not like. Like if I looked at it, I go, I'm not into that. Like, what? It's my paintings.
I thought this just before we came on air, when I went to the toilet, and we were just talking about that drill album, right? That's that my publisher asked me if it could be sampled, like that some of their artists that they represent could sample from it, and they represent people like Drake and Chance the Rapper and stuff like this. I was thinking that, if someone like that samples from my album and it gets, a successful song, and then I listen to it and go, I fucking hate that song, even though it's basically my song.
Yeah.
And making loads of money from it, and you're going, oh, it's rubbish.
Yeah,
I think you'd get over it.
Suddenly you get loads of
50%.
people asking you, like, to go, and can you make another, fat drill beat?
album.
Well, yeah,
Not
you would
really.
have to really. You'd have, it could easily happen to you, Andy. Where you
I know,
become really successful making drill beats for people that you don't like. Because it's so hard to
UK's
say no to.
best-selling drill producer.
Who's your
suppose that's it
favourite
though,
artist?
isn't it? So-
I don't like drill.
Here we go for a turnaround.
Go on.
As a businessman, can you be that picky?
Well,
We're all stuck in a situation doing bits of work that we don't want to do. Is that just part of being a businessman?
Well, this is what I mean though. Like, even if you're in that situation and you want to get out of it, you can't just go, I'm done with this, and just drop it. You have to sort of do the other thing on the side until it gets enough that you can go, right, I'm going to fuck this off now. But you just got to.
Yeah.
But it's that trying to make that transition, which is the hardest bit, because things keep pulling you back in. I'll just do this.
It's easy, isn't it? It's easy if you've got a guarantee of money coming in and stuff.
Yeah.
Just easy to be like, well, yeah, I'll carry on doing that for a bit.
Yeah, I mean, if it got sampled by, they represent, or they have shares in quite a few big artists. I don't really know how you can have shares in an artist, but whatever. If they got used and it was successful, then suddenly like the same people or similar size artists were like, knocking on my door for similar style beats, as if I'm going to turn it down.
Well, that's it, isn't it? Yeah,
That's
exactly.
the problem, isn't it?
There we go. I know it's really hard, especially because you appreciate how hard it is to find that stuff. But
yeah, and it's not the same. It's not the same as well. Is selling out really a thing? I mean, I was going to say it's not the same as selling out because I'm not known for being massive on the underground drill scene or whatever. It's just
horrible title.
But is selling out really a thing, or is that just clever business?
I don't think selling out is the thing. I mean, I feel like I've watched quite a few videos about it where people really get quite annoyed about that word selling out. Those
Are they always
words.
the people that sold out though?
Pretty close, yeah.
It's difficult because most people would take that opportunity.
Yeah, of course.
Going on X Factor
it's like,
is probably selling out, I suppose.
It's selling out, or is it playing the game? Because I find myself playing the game a lot with people, like, especially, there's a few artists that I think their old thing wasn't working, so they've had to sort of play the game. Like Sia is a tough one for that, because she.
True, that's a good example. Yeah.
I've found myself saying that I felt that she was a sellout, but she was on Louis Theroux, and it was a really sort of good way of her explaining how she got to where she got, where she was like, I didn't like David Guetta music, and she didn't even want to be. She wanted to be the songwriter, and she laid down her vocals for them to find a singer, and they ended up just using hers. Yeah,
first go.
So like she genuinely didn't want to be the front of all that. And she said, she was touring, doing her old stuff, and it was just wasn't making any. It was really good. It made me feel really bad for ever suggesting that.
Is that Louis Thru's podcast? Is it
sell out? Yeah.
Is it good? I've not. Is it?
Yeah, it's mad, that one with Sia. She's had a pretty crazy life. She gets very emotional and like, yeah, it's pretty crazy. There's some good ones on there. The one with his cousin's good, Justin Theroux.
I think that's the thing. And if you can make a bit of money by like selling out, then if it enables you to go back to doing something of what you want to do, is that really selling out? Or is that just a bit of freedom? Interesting debate, isn't it?
It's just hard if anyone was in the position of most of these people that we were like, sold out. It's like, well, yeah, but would you? Let's see what you would have been like in that position, because you might. Let's be honest, probably would.
I guess a selling out thing to be concerned of is someone who's got loads of money who then just goes on and does some sort of bullshit endorsement for loads more money.
Yeah,
I guess that's a bigger concern, isn't it?
Like the capitalist sellout.
I suppose so. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. You mean like something like say it's music? That's where you most hear selling out. I think. Like if your music becomes popular,
so, yeah.
There's not
Gary
really
Lineker and Walkers
isn't
selling out, though, is it?
I suppose it isn't. He's been doing it for so long, though.
What combo of famous person and brand is really bad?
Yeah, let's see how much trouble we can get into.
Barry Scott and Sillet Bang.
Damon Albarn and Moon Biscuits. They're not even a real thing.
Right.
Oh, you've gone a bit waffy on my end. I'm going to be a bit choppy, I reckon.
So how much time do you reckon? Do you feel like more of your time these days, Dave, is being taken up with business stuff? And in terms of business stuff, I think you can you can add in, you can include social media interaction in all of that. Do you think more and more of your time gets taken up with business related tasks than it used to?
I don't know. I've been in the studio pretty much every day for a month or two. I go in all the time, and I'm doing something pretty much every day that is classed as work. I just can't. It's all over the place at the moment. The time frame is way off. I used to do a painting or two, but then trying to make, I don't know, but it's because I'm not doing what I once was and it's not even an option at the moment. But I'm starting to get stuff coming in for later in the year, and I think it could get weird quickly. It could fall into what I was doing very quickly, just like everything else. It's just suddenly I'll get my first gig and then a second, and then I'll realize that I don't have as much time. I've forgotten how little time I had back then.
Yeah, that's interesting.
I felt like I was doing that quite a lot. Now,
because it was because you got the trip. You have your event wherever that might be. Say it's in another country. You got your trip to the event, but you've also got there's a lot of planning, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of planning and the traveling and it all gets should really try and do as much as I can before that potentially happens, but Yeah, I'll change my mind quite a lot. I look
Yeah.
like look ridiculous color on here. Like
That was
it's
my
glowing
mum.
red.
She was just telling us how much she's enjoying the current episode.
Really?
Well, she phoned you. Really? Oh, I was liking that.
No, I'm just trying to
story.
keep the narrative going. No.
I'm gonna go tungsten. Is that any better? Oh, for fuck's sake!
This is nice.
Shooting seconds, white balance, white fluorescent. No, tungsten. Let's try that. Oh,
Yeah.
that's a good freeze
I've got a-
frame.
I've got a question for you, Rob. As a learning experience, do you think it's better to go back and fix an issue in your project, or just move on and just try and avoid, like, learn from mistakes and avoid doing the same thing next time?
I personally think move on and better it next time. Otherwise, you just never get anywhere with it. Depends what the end is, doesn't it? But like most of the time, move on. I think you're the one that notices mistakes the most.
That's
So
true.
like you're the one who'll be most critical, like, and I just think like the rate that particularly sort of work I'm producing at the moment,
Yeah.
you just have to like try and pump it out. So if you just get hung up on stuff, it's the old perfectionism thing, innit? And just keep pumping it out, mate. Don't worry about it. Fix it next time and become a better person in the future.
So you
It's
think
weird going back to vocals, isn't it?
like dialogue
When you go back to vocals on songs that you've made and stuff like that, years later,
Yeah.
you never know what you're gonna think.
Just all of it, like listen to a tune. Like, I'm not a professional in music, but if I listen to a tune I made 10 years ago compared to now, the difference is very minimal.
Same old shit.
No, but you don't realize how much you learn, I don't think, over time. It's just like these little things creep up, and I think if you go back, it's like photographs. I've learned so many editing techniques on photography. If I was to go back and re-edit my whole catalogue because I've learned new techniques that make it look better, you'd just be constantly stuck on old work, wouldn't you? Just making it look how it should be today, look like by today's standard. If you know what I mean.
Do you think your learning in terms of in photography in recent years has been more post-production, or do you feel like you're still learning in camera stuff? If that's the right way to explain it. I mean, presumably there's a finite amount of stuff you can learn in terms of actually taking the photograph.
Well, you'd be surprised really by how much there is to learn on that side of things if you go into each different discipline. Like, obviously, going from landscape to wildlife, it is a completely different set of skills, and so that was quite a lot of learning. But I do feel like you can get the hang of that pretty quickly. But then there's a lot of like extra stuff you can do to make it even better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I think the nature of software and how it changes means that you're constantly learning on the back end of the project. So just like any sort of editing, because they're always upgrading it. Like there's always stuff to learn. So you just don't ever finish learning stuff really.
So there's an example there of you being both a business person, but also in the creative sense. When you were, I think, when you were in the Lake District, living in the Lake District, you were doing the landscape photography, and that's even especially around there, I would imagine a competitive market to sell photographs in.
Yeah, I didn't do loads of it really. I used to go outside the lakes to sell because it was a bit easier because there wasn't as much, stalls weren't as expensive and all the rest of it. But I always made most of my money doing like, jobs for people like museums and pubs and stuff like that who wanted photography.
Okay.
So that was the sort of bread and butter. I got a bit bored of selling prints. Really, it's all right, but it is a lot of work and it's a lot of outlay to start with.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
I'm not a very good businessman. I just get bored with it. Like that side of the creative process just bores the life out of me. And like, I do it as a test. Like I used to go and sell my prints, and I'd be like, right, I made 500 quid today. I know I can do that if I want to, but I cannot be asked to go through that again.
Yeah.
It
You don't have to do it.
It just takes the joy out of it a little bit. And I remember like a couple of clients who were arsey, and I just got fed up, and I was like, right, I'll take my images back, and I'll just give you your money back because I can't be bothered. And like this one woman did, and she gave me the wrong bank details. I've still got her money.
Yeah.
I just couldn't be bothered to get in. Like when people get that picky, and you're like, I don't actually need this money, like, and I just haven't got that. I don't know. I just haven't got that temperament to be that good a businessman. I think as you get older, you become a little bit more worldly wise and able to deal with these things. But I was a bit of a little bit of a hothead in that sort of situation. It's not my natural environment.
See, there's an argument, isn't there, for at some stage where you have someone who represents the business side of your business, your creative business, whatever it is, and which does have it's obviously you're giving away money, but it can enhance or certainly lower your stress and hopefully enhance the amount of work that you have going in. Like I've got a guy who looks after some of the business side of stuff for me, and it's definitely the best way for me to run, and I don't think I'd change it now.
What, doing the business side?
Yeah, he does handles all the business side of the albums.
Oh, you've got someone who does it,
yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty natural way. I mean, as soon as you really try and go up to the next level of business, it's like,
so you must have noticed a difference, like, because you've had, I don't know how long you've had agents for nowadays, but it's been a while, certainly. You must have noticed a step up in, like, professionalism, or just feeling the feeling of professionalism once you suddenly got an agent and stuff.
No, not really.
No.
No, I don't know. I think it's more about getting them to do the bits that you don't want to do in some respects. Like, you just sort all that and I'll just do the painting side. But, you still end up doing quite a lot of business stuff. You still have to go through a quote and discuss it and it's a lot of it is just like, can you deal with this and take a cut, and I'll be happy with that. But some of it you think, I really could do this myself, but then it's I'd rather not, because it's just
I guess
it gets quite stressful.
I guess there's swings. Some jobs you feel like, fucking hell, they definitely haven't earned their money here, and some of them. Hey, he's gone. He's off.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, sometimes you just think, wow, you've taken this much for this job, and compared to what I've just done for this money, I've traveled, I've spent a few days on, I've done so much, but it's not that. It's like that money comes in and I send it straight off the chunk. That it's not my money to hold on to and go, I'll give it to them now. It's like it goes in, it goes. That's what, in some ways they got a higher price, so they take their cut, but you can't help but get attached to the full amount of money, where sometimes it feels like you're giving them some of your money, and it's not that.
So again, what'd you say, Rob?
Saying it's you wouldn't have the jobs without them, probably, would you?
No.
I said my internet connection's dying here, man. I could barely hear you here.
Really?
Yeah, way laggy. Can't hear you.
See, Dave, I'm in a slightly better position. Well, not better position, a different position, Dave. Whereas the cut, my agent's cut, is taken off before it even gets to me. So it's like once the money comes into my account, then I don't have to like pay anyone out of it. So kind of feels like
Yeah, I think that's
you
more
know.
normal, to be honest.
Yeah,
I think mine's it's a weird approach that I've got, but yeah, I think most of the time, it's taken out beforehand.
fair enough. Yeah.
Yeah, one way or another, it's just part of it. The percentage is another funny part where I've always felt like if you give a higher percentage, then they'll do a proper job, and try to get
Maybe.
give them a really small amount. They'll do a small amount's work, and there's nothing worse than you're like, oh fucking hell, I've underpaid them, and I'm getting,
Yeah. Yeah. You can see the flip side of it. If someone was giving me 1% to do all their admin, I definitely wouldn't be putting that
hate
much
to
effort
see
in.
those results.
Yeah.
Yeah, 1% to make
I
drill.
think I'm going to have to dive out, boys, because my internet's so terrible.
Well,
Hello?
let's just
Can you hear
sack
me?
it off then, because
Yeah, we'll stop there. It's all right. We've done, some amount of time. We'll be back.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
get
know,
like
next
fucking
week.
10-minute lag.
we'll say goodbye on here and just see what happens.
Yeah. Let's see you next week.